Joe Rogan recently made a statement that immediately got everyone talking. And guess what? He's openly questioning why nobody is speaking up about Ellen DeGeneres now that Diddy's scandal is dominating the news. Seriously, how is nobody noticing the connection here? We're about to dig into why Ellen's name keeps surfacing, yet people act like it's invisible. When Diddy faced arrest over these serious allegations, the internet went wild, hunting down old clips of celebrities mentioning his parties. And what did they uncover? Tons of footage showing Ellen and Diddy laughing together on her show, joking about those infamous gatherings that now seem highly questionable. But wait, Joe Rogan's take on this is even more intense. According to him, there's a reason why nobody is really confronting Ellen about her links to Diddy, despite her having hosted him multiple times and laughing about those parties that are now under investigation.
I used my sickness as one of the reasons, like, yo, you know I can't be traveling with you, and you know I can't be doing this, that, and the other. The doctor said.
Honestly, when you think about it, the silence is staggering. Here's where it gets even more intense. Remember when Ellen's talk show was canceled in 2022 after the toxic workplace scandal? That apparently wasn't the end of her troubles. Fast forward, she reportedly left the US right after Trump's election, relocated to the UK, and claimed she'd never return. Coincidence? Highly unlikely. There are also some juicy behind-the-scenes details that no one's talking about. Before we dive deeper into Joe Rogan's comments, let's recap why Ellen is even relevant now. Back in 2020, BuzzFeed News exposed her show, the one famous for the Be Kind motto, as a toxic work environment. There were reports of racism, intimidation, staff being fired for taking bereavement days, and generally miserable working conditions. Employees insisted that Be Kind was just for show. One former staffer said, "The kindness only exists when cameras are rolling. Everything else is fake." The fallout was massive. 3 executive producers were fired, and Ellen publicly apologized. Yet most people blamed the producers, not her. She claimed ignorance, even though it was her name on the show. The program continued for 2 more seasons and ended in 2022. Ellen stated it was due to creative reasons, but in reality, her public image had been shattered. Now, let's focus on Joe Rogan's observations regarding Ellen and the Diddy controversy on his podcast. He discussed how odd it is that celebrities openly bragged about attending Diddy's parties for years. He mentioned Ashton Kutcher and others who treated these parties like badges of honor. And who was frequently part of these on-camera chats with Diddy? Ellen DeGeneres herself. Rogan highlighted what many are thinking but not saying. How did all these stars attend these gatherings and claim ignorance? Diddy now faces charges related to allegedly organizing freak-off parties where illegal activity occurred. And yet, celebrities like Ellen, who joked about these events multiple times on national television, remain silent. The most telling moment comes from a 2018 interview where Diddy told Ellen, "I invite you to all my parties, but you just haven't showed up." He added that his parties start at 9:30 p.m., but the real private parties happen at midnight on the top hotel floors. Ellen responded, I know about them." Wait, really? You knew about them? Why does this matter? And why does Rogan find it suspicious? Ellen hosted Diddy on her show at least 3 times, laughing and joking about his notorious events. In a 2002 Conan O'Brien interview, Diddy even joked about needing locks for his parties. At the time, audiences laughed. Now, in light of the charges, those jokes carry a very different weight. After Diddy's September 2024 arrest, old clips resurfaced online. Fans began asking, what did Ellen know? And why isn't she speaking out? One 2016 tweet even had Ellen calling Diddy Cuddle McNuggle stuff. When paparazzi recently questioned her about the allegations, she avoided the topic and visibly appeared uneasy. Her body language said it all. Joe Rogan's point is straightforward. If you were close enough to host Diddy multiple times, joke about his parties, and claim awareness of them, you should speak now that he's facing serious criminal charges. Ellen's silence, and that of others, is precisely what Rogan finds suspicious. But there's another dimension to this story. That toxic workplace scandal? It might connect to the Diddy situation more than we realized. Former employees in 2025 told news outlets that Ellen fostered an environment where people were too afraid to speak up. Sound familiar? That mirrors what some insiders claim about Diddy's circle. Everyone knew, but fear or power kept them quiet. One former cameraman described Ellen's intimidating glare as the Ellen gaze, like a queen searching for her next target. Another source said she banned Gordon Ramsay from her show for 8 seasons just for a joke about her cooking. The pattern is clear: control and silence. Ellen ruled her set with fear, and Diddy allegedly controlled his circle the same way, surrounding themselves with people too scared or too loyal to speak. Now, let's dive into some of the craziest details that have surfaced about both Ellen and Diddy, showing just how deep this story really goes. Over the years, multiple celebrities have openly praised Diddy's parties. LeBron James famously said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Ben Stiller even appeared in a Bad Boys music video talking about these events. But Ellen? She was one of the few who admitted on camera that she was aware of the different types of parties Diddy hosted. That's a whole new level of acknowledgement. Back in 2009, right after Chris Brown was accused of assaulting Rihanna, Ellen asked Diddy on her show why he allowed Chris Brown to stay at his house. Ellen sounded very self-righteous, warning, "I don't want any girl thinking it's okay to go back to a guy who hit her." But jump to 2020, and reports from Ellen's own staff revealed experiences of abuse and toxic behavior on her show. The irony is undeniable. In November 2024, shortly after Trump won the election, Ellen and her wife Portia sold their Montecito mansion and relocated to rural England. Sources close to them claimed they never intended to return to the US. Ellen said the move was because of the election results. But here's the catch. Diddy's trial was heating up at the same time, and additional celebrity names were appearing in court filings. Now let's get into some of the more obscure details most people haven't seen. In late May 2025, rumors circulated online that Ellen had an arrest warrant linked to her former DJ, Stephen "Twitch" Boss, who passed away in December 2022. The rumor suggested a recording from Twitch had surfaced during Diddy's trial. Fact-checkers, including Snopes, confirmed this was false. But it raises the question, why would such speculation even exist? People wondered what connection might have existed between Ellen, Twitch, and Diddy. Some online theories suggest Twitch knew too much about behind-the-scenes happenings at Ellen's show and possibly even some of Hollywood's darker secrets. Of course, these are just theories, unproven, but they reveal how deep the suspicion runs. In her Netflix special For Your Approval, released in September 2024, Ellen addressed her exit from show business with humor. She joked, "The be kind girl wasn't kind." That was the headline. But what many overlooked was how she spoke about the toll on her ego and self-worth. She said, "There are such extremes in this business. People either love you and idolize you, or they hate you. And somehow, the haters are louder." That sounds more like someone bitter over exposure than genuinely remorseful. In May 2025, Aaron Rodgers appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast, attempting to draw a comparison between Ellen's old talk show set and Epstein Island due to some architectural similarities. Rogan immediately shut that down, pointing out it looked like a normal building in LA and was likely coincidental. Yet the fact people even make these connections shows how far Ellen's reputation has fallen. Some are literally comparing her to one of the worst criminals in modern history. So what's the public reaction? On Twitter, one user wrote, "Ellen knew about those parties, and now she's living her best life in England, while Diddy's facing life in prison. Make it make sense." Another viral comment read, "Joe Rogan is the only one brave enough to say what we're all thinking." Why is Ellen getting a pass when Ashton Kutcher is getting roasted for the same thing? On TikTok, one user posted, Ellen dodging questions about Diddy, then immediately leaving the country is the most guilty behavior I've ever seen. She knew something. This really sums it up. Ellen had her toxic workplace exposed, never fully apologized, and then moved to another country as Diddy's case intensified. That's not a coincidence. The public isn't buying her innocent image. Joe Rogan speaking out gives people the confidence to voice what they've suspected all along. Remember at the start when we asked why no one was really talking about Ellen in relation to Diddy? Here's why. Ellen still has influence in Hollywood and the media. Even though her show ended and her reputation suffered, she's still Ellen DeGeneres. She has connections, wealth, and the ability to manage her narrative. But that's shifting.
And that ranged anywhere from probably 22 to 54 months.
Figures like Joe Rogan, with massive platforms and no Hollywood restrictions, are now highlighting the obvious. They're asking the questions mainstream outlets avoid. Rogan emphasizes this. Ellen hosted Diddy multiple times, joked about his parties, admitted knowledge of them, and now remains silent as Diddy faces serious criminal charges. That silence is what Rogan finds suspicious. And he's right to call it out. The title of this video suggests Ellen might be worse than Diddy, not because we have proof she committed crimes, but because at least Diddy is confronting consequences. Ellen, meanwhile, retired with millions, relocated to picturesque countryside in England, and acts as if nothing occurred. She's not held accountable, and in a way, that might be worse. So what's next for Ellen? Probably nothing. She's living her best life in the UK, posting photos of sheep, riding horses, and enjoying the countryside. Unless concrete evidence emerges linking her to illegal activity connected to Diddy, she'll likely go down in history as the talk show host known for being mean rather than kind. Meanwhile, Diddy's trial continues and more names are surfacing. Will Ellen be officially mentioned in court? Time will tell. But one thing is clear, Joe Rogan and the internet aren't letting this story fade anytime soon. The court of public opinion has already judged Ellen, and it isn't favorable. The woman who built her brand on kindness is now remembered for the opposite. What do you think? Did Ellen know more about Diddy's parties than she's admitting? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more videos exposing celebrity drama mainstream media ignores, be sure to check out our other content.
He didn't tell the NYPD officers. He didn't tell the Department of Correction officers. He didn't tell none of the parole officers or anybody he had working for him that was officers. He told street dudes who had did dirt in the street.
He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough.